Let's learn more about the incredible Brick Durley.
When Brick Durley first learned of his induction into the Valley College Athletics Hall of Fame, his first act was to get former athletic director Chuck Ferrero to give the introduction. But as the poet said, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, and when Chuck fell ill, a second plan was put in place, that of Chuck dictating notes via cell phone. We present some of those now, and as you watch, maybe somewhere in the recess of your imagination, you can see Chuck standing before you at the Valley College podium. Chuck would most likely begin by talking about Brick's background, his familiarity with sports, and his glory days at the University of Tulsa, where he lettered in both track and field and football. In 1975, Brick joined the staff at Valley College as an assistant coach in track and field, swimming, and football. It was in football, though, where Brick's star shined the brightest when that year's team won the Metro Conference and then went on to win the prestigious Potato Bowl, earning a number 2 state and national ranking. In 1978, Brick moved to the main office and for the next several years served as a counselor in several departments. It was in 1988, though, when he accepted the role of Dean of Administrative Services that he became the athletic administrator. Under Brick's supervision, athletics flourished. Among other things, Brick added men and women's track and field, men's and women's cross country, men's and women's softball, and women's soccer. Also, Brick played a significant role in hiring multiple full-time instructors for football, men's basketball, women's softball, men's water polo, men's swimming, and baseball, not to mention a men's and women's athletic counselor dedicated solely to the athletes. Among those hires were 3 individuals who have been inducted into the LAVC Athletic Hall of Fame: Chuck Ferrero, football coach Jim Fenwick, and basketball coach Doug Michelson. When Proposition A was passed in 2001 and bond money was allotted to the community college district, Brick ensured that some of it went for much-needed updates to the athletic department, which included a refurbished Monarch Stadium, a new baseball and softball facility, the athletic practice field, and the aquatic center. In a conversation held last week, Chuck said that Brick is a very unique guy and was a pleasure to work with for 20 years under his deanship. He was easy to work with, always supportive, and a very positive individual. The biggest thing, says Chuck, is there are very few people in a position of leadership where arrows can be shot, yet Brick formed no enemies. In fact, he never drew any kind of naysayer talk. Chuck continued, Brick is a man's man, as demonstrated by his college years, his coaching with great coaches, and he himself being an outstanding defensive line coach. Brick befriended everybody and listened to what people had to say, even the worst of the worst. Brick was patient and kind with everybody. There were a lot of egos, but Brick did well with all of them. His decisions were always well thought out and always correct. His ability to serve as liaison between 2 individuals was outstanding. He had athletics, reprographics, and a few others beneath him, yet steered them all well. And he was the conduit to Mary Ann Brickell, the school's vice president. I believe Valley College was so fortunate to have him in the position he was in for the amount of time he was with us. When I went to the Western State Conference meetings, I was proud of the fact that Brick was there representing us, because I always thought he was by far and away the best of the athletic administrators in the conference. He wasn't the type that tried to steal the show. What he had to say had value, and he was very classy. And I'm very grateful for the work he did as one of the original members of the Athletic Hall of Fame. In conclusion, says Chuck, Brick is as good as it gets.
Chuck said it all. Let me introduce you to Brick Durley.
Let me spring up these tips, Dale.
Go get it.
Going to thank Chuck and Dale for the kind words. Boy. Hall of Fame Committee, thank you very much. This is very humbling. It really is. I really appreciate it. You know, I started working here in 1975. 33 years. It became like home away from home. Family atmosphere, it was just great. 1988, when I became the Dean of Administrative Services and was hired by Mary Ann Brickell, always indebted to her for hiring me, gave me my shot in administration, and she gave me athletics. It was super. And during that 20 years as being the athletic administrator, I only worked for 2 presidents, which is pretty good. 2 presidents in 20 years, Dr. Mary Lee and Dr. Tyree Weeder, that both of them came through for us on numerous occasions. You know, I look back at the athletic directors. I worked with 3 of them, George Goff, Dean Clark, and Chuck Ferraro. Worked with Chuck the longest, and they were all great. They were all excellent at what they did, and it was really good. You know, during that time period, it was just great to work in this job. We, you know, a lot of those, Dale showed some of those coaches. We had Jim Fenwick had a nationally ranked football program, played for the national championship one year in the Strawberry Bowl. Doug Michelson went to Final Fours in both men's and women's basketball, played for a state championship in women's basketball right here at Valley. Hall of Fame coach James Harvey in track and field, cross country, Bill Krause in swimming and water polo, Gary Honjo in gymnastics and swimming. So it was just, we had some great coaches. And during that time, it was just a great time for the school in athletics. We had a lot of super outstanding student athletes, won Scholar Team Awards, Scholar Athletes Award. One gentleman won the State Scholar Athlete Award. It was a good time. And then when the bond stuff started, then it was just, you know, finally, these old facilities were going to get a great facelift and get some new stuff here, which was going to be excellent. If the people, you've seen the pictures that Dale has done and everything, but if you look at the aquatics facility here, for one, there are Division I schools that don't even have anything like this. It's unbelievable, and Jim McMillan could attest to that. You know, I want to thank some people that are here, and a few that aren't. One is back there, Reggie Reed, the athletic academic counselor for the last 30 years. Thanks, Reg, for all you've done for all the students over the years. I don't see him. Retired facilities manager, Tom Lopez. When he came on board, probably the last 7 years that I had in the job, what a breath of fresh air. He was just great to work with in athletics. He was superb. He just helped us so much. Dale Beck, before you've seen what he's done up here, he was our sports information director forever. And he did things with web pages when other people didn't have a clue, I tell you that. And this was like 30 years ago. He was unbelievable. And gentleman down there at the table, Hector Salazar, the king of the barbecuers, did our concessions, football and basketball for a long time, with the help of Angelica, right there. So it was a great time to work here. I loved every minute of it. I had a blast. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.